Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is, let me get that lower third back on. This is Streaming Idiots, and I am so glad that you are here live, and I'm so glad that you're watching us after the fact on Facebook or YouTube or wherever we've shown up. You know, it's funny to search things on the internet, and then all of a sudden some weird URL pops up, and in it is my video. It's like, how did that get there? But that's just the way the world is. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. If you're in the wrong place, you know, it's kind of like the first day of school. If you're in the wrong class, just go on down the hall and find the right one. But hang out here for a bit. I think you'll have some fun. If you're watching us live, we're glad you're here. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube directly, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and you can click the Watch Live tab there at the top, and then you can get the chat room. The guys in the chat are really having a good time. So they're fussing right now at me. They were complaining earlier because the audio was too low. And then so I said, okay, let me turn it up a little bit, and I'll turn it up a little bit more. And now that the show started, they're like, whoa, wait, no, that's too loud. That's too loud. Maybe I need some compression. That's right. That's what Martin's saying. Okay, we'll work that out. It's this streaming stuff is a ton of fun. I was thinking about it earlier, kind of comparing the streaming equipment needed, especially the PC at the core of it, to either the family sedan that starts every time and runs great. You take it in and have it serviced, but if you need to go 180 miles an hour, it's not going to do it. And then on the other hand, you've got a NASCAR racing car that will go 180 miles an hour, but basically it needs a lot of extra maintenance because it can't go for very long at 180 miles an hour. And that's kind of the way the streaming PC is. You know, they're all perched on the edge of explosion, it seems like. So you never know. There's so many adjustments to make. And it is really an art. It really is an art. One day perhaps it'll be a science, but for now it's an art. We were playing in the pre-show with the focus on the camera and with the audio levels, and you know, even really basic stuff like that. Coming up next month, I'm going to celebrate 5 years of live streaming this show and that VidBlaster guy show. They kind of went together for a while. And even after 5 years, you know, there's still some rookie mistakes that I make every time. In fact, there might be a lot of rookie mistakes that I make every time. Today's kind of a smorgasbord, so I think there'll be a little something for everybody today. First off, I just want to tip my hat to Martin Sinclair and the guys at vMix, because they've pushed out another update, vMix 19.54. There's some zeros in there, but essentially it's .54. And in that are some new shortcuts that they've added. And you think, okay, when we bumped into Martin, we didn't bump into him. He gave the keynote address at StreamCon 2 weeks ago. He shared, and I shared a little bit last week, of some of the features that are going to be in vMix 20, vMix 2X as it comes out. And he's working on getting that ready. He said he had about half of the feature set in alpha. That means about half the feature set wasn't yet in alpha, and he's booking for a September beta. So he's got a lot of work to do. But yet at the same time, as he's working on vMix 20, which you know is amazing already in my mind, he takes time out to answer some of the feature requests in the forum of folks that needed some shortcuts for something because they had a project they were working on. They needed some shortcuts. He added the shortcuts. What kind of personal attention are you going to get from anybody else? Not that, I'll tell you that. So really cool, and hat tip to Martin Sinclair and the folks at vMix for being so responsive and for so sensitive and for caring so much about the community that they've developed. And I really appreciate that. By the way, I do need to mention that this entire show is a giant infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. I'm a representative for vMix here in the U.S. and actually wherever you are in the world. So if you want to buy vMix, you can buy it from me and get personal tech support from me. Go to my store at go to my store at Eastern Shore Broadcasting .com, and you can get more information about vMix there. I also represent Magewell, those are the capture card folks, and PI Engineering, those are the X-Key folks, and PTZ Optics. And what do they sell? Oh yeah, that's right, PTZ cameras. and you know, yes, I sell those, but I also know an awful lot about them. So when you buy one of those items from me, when you buy that item, you also get me. And that means it's like, okay, Tom, you know, you've played around with this, you know, show me some of the tips and tricks. Got it. Let's do it. I can show you the tips and tricks. All of my clients have my cell phone number, so they can call when they're in a jam and they need help. That's the time to do it. Yep. And you can also email and send me a message over Facebook. Michael gives me messages over Facebook all the time. He's like, Tom, where does this plug in? Okay, it plugs in on the left side. Oh, okay, got it. Thanks, later. The reason I brought that all up is because our live streaming gear, which is our line of live streaming PCs, we have one tower case, or actually it's a mid-tower case. And if you go to the website, you can look at it. It looks exactly, the new one looks exactly like the old one, except the new one is, well, it doesn't look exactly like the old one. The old one had a glass side panel so you could see inside. And we basically just said, don't put the side panel on there, the glass on there anymore. We just want the metal side. And we've added insulation there, so that it absorbs some of the sound, so that the noise from the PC is really reduced. And if you've watched my show for a while, you know that in the early days, you know, like 4.5 years ago, I was struggling with a lot of noise from my desktop because it was right there underneath this table, and it was putting off a lot of racket. And we think by adding the insulation to this PC that's going to help reduce a lot of that, kind of absorb some of that fan noise, and that's really the noise that you've got in there is the fan noise. So no extra charge. We're doing that as part of our regular lineup, and that's our mid-towers, the live streaming gear stuff in our store at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Yep, got that. Check that off the list. Check that off the list. Okay. Starting 3 different sentences at the same time. Does that ever happen to you? Let me give you the first sentence first. When we were at StreamCon 2 weeks ago, we found out that Facebook had blocked vMix from streaming using the API because vMix had inadvertently violated the terms of service that allowed people to stream to Facebook Live with an API and also to other services. And apparently that violates Facebook terms of service. Apparently, I don't understand it, and I could be wrong, but apparently Facebook doesn't mind if you use the Rtmp method of streaming to Facebook Live. They just don't want you to use the API. So vMix fixed all that, and now vMix is Facebook compliant, and you can still use the API with vMix and Facebook Live, but you can't add a second stream. So if you're trying to do that now, that's why it doesn't work. And there are all sorts of notices all over the internet about that. But if you're like me and you live at the edge of the earth, you might not have gotten those notices. So how do you go back to doing that? Well, you can go back to doing that by streaming using the Facebook Rtmp settings and then streaming to anything else. And I made a short video that should be through rendering by now. Let's hope. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. That talks about that, and let me cue that rascal up. I haven't, you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to have stuff that you haven't prepared. I mean, that you prepared, but maybe you haven't watched to see. So we're gonna have a look at this guy and see how it is and whether it works. So this is the process of using the Rtmp settings in Facebook to stream in vMix. Take a listen. The first thing to do is to go to facebook.com/live/create, and that will bring you to this page. Next, click the Create Live Stream button in the middle of the page. Next, choose where you're going to share this video. we're going to share this in a group called Streaming Idiots. Yep, there it is right there on the list. And click Next. This window will populate gradually with the server URL and the stream key. Those two sets of codes need to be copied and placed into vMix as such. We'll bring in a vMix production. Hey, there you go. We'll click on our streamer. We'll find a custom Rtmp streamer. Well, let's just create a new one. So we'll add, and this is going to be Facebook Rtmp custom. And first we'll copy the server URL. And put that in the URL field. And then we'll copy the stream key and put that in the stream key field, and then we'll save, and then we can stream. It's that simple. Now if you want to include extras, yes, you can include a second and even a third, and you can use the APIs for these various destinations in that way. So it's really simple, not hard stuff. Just a matter of going to facebook.com/live/create and walking your way through. Yes, you can add a title and you can add some other tags if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And then once you go live on vMix, you want to come back to this page and go live on this page. And this field right here will populate with an image of what your video is. Go live. That's it. And that's it. That's it. So let's see. Sorry about the audio issues. That's what you get for not testing. And, you know, that's the great thing that I like about this show is that, you know, I screw up all the time and you guys get to see what happens when you do that. Yeah, Kenny says, now it's going to be loud when you return. Be careful. That's right. That's right. What I did is I turned up the gain in the channel just for that video. That's the beauty of vMix, is that every source you can adjust that source independently. And I turned up the gain in that particular one. Let's see. Let's check it. That was the Facebook Live. The gain was up about 8 decibels, 8 dB. And then also, just for fun, I turned up the master dB gain in vMix 2 decibels, as the Behringer UMC 404 HD is pretty well maxed out. It's not clipping, but it's maxed out. And again, you know, I'm using a shotgun mic that's let's see, what is that? Probably 24 inches plus or minus from my mouth. Because I just don't like to wear a lapel mic. That's just me. You know, once you clear off a deck by pulling a corded mic with you, or being in the middle of a broadcast and have the batteries die on a cordless, you appreciate the unwired approach. Oh yeah, Merle says vote early and often. Thank you, Merle. Don't forget to vote in the streaming awards. The Streaming Idiot Show is up for Best Male Host, and we're currently overall in 8th place or 7th place. Let's see, do we have that? Do we have that? Bob, do we have that available over here? Let's see for a second. Yeah, there it is. We're in 8th place behind Marilyn Cuevas and Griswold Elementary School News. Now, the Griswold Elementary School News is the work of Kyle Gunderman. So hat tip to Kyle. a vMix guy. Number 4, Jeff Adams, is the top male host, and he's a vMix guy. And then number 1, Zach Adams with Cruise Week TV, that's for best production. Zach's the producer on that show, and he and I go way back to the VidBlaster days, and of course he's a vMix guy now too. And also a member of Streaming Idiots. And then number 10 down at the bottom, Stephen Healy. I don't think he uses vMix, but he's a member of the Streaming Idiots group. So Streaming Idiots are doing pretty well. So pick out your Streaming Idiots guys there. You know, Stephen Haley, Tom Sinclair, Griswold Elementary, Jeff Adams, and Zach Adams, and give them a vote, so they can win. Whatever it is, we win. And if I win anything, I tell you what, I'll bring it back here, and I'll have a little contest here and let you guys win it. So there you are. Dan has posted that in the chat, as has Giles, and Amnon is asking, where is the link to the voting? Well, I think everybody's answered that question for you. Kyle says it's all the 4th graders. He's just the tech support. Well, that's cool. That's cool. So make sure you vote for the Griswold Elementary School News. They've got 583 votes, and they can kick into 5th place with just another 50 votes or so. So there we go. Let's see. Boy, we're running out of time. We got too much stuff. I didn't want the day to get away without showing you a new toy that I got. It's an X-Power battery pack, and let's see if I can get it without a reflection on it. There we go. And Howard Jones was using this at StreamCon, and he was powering a camera and a radio off of the same pack. And at one point we were and also an HDMI to Ethernet converter. And so he said, you know, Tom, you got to get one. So I went and got one, and I'm not powering anything with it right now because here it is. But oh, did I forget Giles? Giles, I'm sorry. Vote for Giles in the streaming awards too. Actually, Giles is on there. In fact, there are probably a lot of folks here that are. Martin Sinclair's in it. Tim Vandenberg is in it. Jan is in it. Looking through here, who else was nominated? Golly gee, I am so terrible about that. Oh, Jim Jacobs. Jim Jacobs, he's here today. He was nominated, so vote for them too. I was just showing you the top 10. My bad. Anyway, back to this. This is a great little guy. I haven't tested yet to see how long a PTZ camera will operate with this. I'm sure it depends on how often you pan, tilt, or zoom. But I'm going to be experimenting with this some in the future. It was about 60 bucks on Amazon, and it is the X. I guess is it XI or XT? It's hard to see. XT Power MP 10,000. XT Power MP 10,000. There you go. And it comes with all sorts of gadgets. I mean, if you like gadgets, you're going to like this. It comes with a whole bag of adapters for every cell phone known to man. It comes with some barrels that will allow it to power different laptops. That's what I'm using it to power one of the cameras. It comes with a car charger, so you can charge it in the car. It comes with of course, a regular DC charger. It comes with a USB adapter so that you can plug from cell phone to things. And if you live wherever these plugs are, it has one of these. So I don't know where that's from. It's definitely not Alabama, but I bet it's Louisiana or Mississippi. It's probably one of those places where they have those fancy plugs. Anyway, it's really cool, and I look forward to doing some mobile computing with that in the near future. So that it's tested. Howard has tested it extensively. That's why I bought it. It's the XT Power MP 10,000, Amazon, about 60 bucks. Prime, you get it free shipping. It comes in 2 days. I think mine came in a day, and I think actually mine came in a day. Ordered it on Saturday and got it Monday. That was pretty amazing. So, Jan tells me that's the most commonly used connector in the world. Of course it is, Jan. Of course it is. The fact that I don't know anything about it, you can just rub my face in it. All right, let's see. Golly, we're going over time, but we did start a few minutes late, so we got time. I do want to cover, I've got two more things on the agenda, and I do want to get this in. Oh, Jim says to mention our graphics project. Yes, Jim, I'm so sorry. Jim Jacobs with FNN Network is doing a, oh, and Ray is in the chat room saying, vote for him too. He's with, that's right, Ray, I nominated you, didn't I? Anyway, Jim and I are working together on this graphics process for football, but it would work for probably any sport. And we'll be putting it on the website soon. Basically it's a full customized graphics package. I mean, the full deal for your football team. It's $185. We'll have it on soon with some samples of what it looks like. And you can and we will customize it, and also send you the raw file so you can customize it yourself. So there's lots of cool stuff. When I say we, I really mean Jim. I don't mean me. I just want to make that clear, because you've seen. I mean, I'm not a graphics guy. I don't do graphics. All right. One of the things that came out at StreamCon, was a lot of great conversation. The same thing happened at NAB, and David, and I don't remember David's last name right now. Anyway, David suggested at NAB that we need to put together, it could be formal, it could be informal, but an association, a society of professional streamers. And I know that Rich Ignacio has been working to put together kind of a referral list, so that if you've got a gig you can't handle, you can refer it to somebody else, or if somebody's looking for a streamer, that they can use that list and find somebody that's relatively close to them. So the other thought was, maybe StreamCon could kind of become an annual meeting for this group of folks, so that we can get together and see each other eyeball to eyeball. NAB is a great time to get together, but there's so much going on, and there's so much to see, and by the time you've seen it all, you're just absolutely exhausted. But something that's a little slower pace and that's streaming only, like a StreamCon, would be a great annual meeting for a group like that. So if you are interested, Alan's saying in there, if you are interested in joining something like this, or in helping create it, let me know. And I can be at least initially kind of a little kind of a center point to help pull things together. And obviously when you create this kind of organization, it needs leadership. It needs people that are willing to invest time, their own time, in helping push it forward and announcing it and putting together the framework that it's going to operate under. It can be a pretty big task, but at the same time it can be a real labor of love if you really want to help this industry grow. And there are lots of groups that you can join. The Streaming Idiots Facebook group right down here. If you haven't joined it, you need to. Facebook.com/groups/Streaming Idiots. We only need 7 more people to get to 700. That's a great group, and it's a great discussion. And I would say easily 24 hours a day, there's somebody that's engaged in a discussion in that group. It's a wonderful resource, and I love reading it. I can't wait to read it. And I love it because most of the guys in there are smarter than me, so I can learn it. I can read and learn from them. But I think we need something that's a little bit more structured to be able to move this industry forward in kind of a less haphazard manner. Something where we're thinking about what's going on in the future, where we're mapping out professional standards of ethics, standards of systems, of what your capabilities are. Things that'll help the general public or the purchasing people that need live streaming services. It'll give them some sort of standards to go by. You've seen that at least here in the U.S. You've seen it with the legal profession. That's the bar. Every state has its own bar, and you have to pass the bar in order to become a lawyer in that state. Frankly, I wish most of them would fail it, but In fact, most of them did the first time. You know, not to be an architect, but to be considered a real professional in the trade, you belong to the American Institute of Architects. You know, so there are these professional societies that set the standards for what it takes to be excellent in that industry, and that's what I'm proposing, that those of us and others get together and kind of form this group. We write our own Declaration of Independence and our own Constitution and our own amendments to the Constitution, Bill of Rights or whatever, and I think we could help the industry move forward and possibly, you know, protect ourselves from the inevitable land grab that's going to happen by the big guys out there that want to grab everything up for themselves. So we can be what was it, the Broadcast Streamers Association? There we go, the BSA. Well, that's Boy Scouts of America, so we may try something else. Giles is, so I'm off my soapbox about that. Giles is announcing in the chat room that StreamFest Live, the International Online Streaming Festival, will be August 5th. And more information, you can find more information at, can somebody give me a URL or there? All right, Alan is saying that he is in Kansas City and he is bringing guests in remotely for a panel discussion at the American Association of Woodworkers, I think is what that is. And so that would be cool, Alan. We would love to have a link to that in the Streaming Idiots group so that we can watch and give you constructive criticism. Yeah. Okay. We don't have any information back yet on StreamFest as to how to find out more about it. But if you come to the Streaming Idiots group or the World of Live Streaming group, that's World of Live Streaming, then you would get more information about StreamFest. And Alan says it's the Word Turners Association. So Guest 570 says, okay, call it the Digital Broadcasters Association. The DBA. There you go. Okay, Giles posted a link, stepbackintime.tv, and you can find more information about StreamFest. That's stepbackintime.tv. StreamFest coming up August 25th. We did not get to our shortcuts this week. Oh, what the heck. It's an internet show. We can go over in time just a little bit. Let me show you a little bit of what I've done here. So I've got to add a desktop capture input, and it'll take me just a second here, and I'm just going to capture the whole display. There we are. Get that cord out of the way. Oh, and by the way, hat tip to the guys at PI Engineering. Those are the Streaming Idiots. They're not the Streaming Idiots folks, the X-Key folks, because they just sent me an extra guy. You see Dan the Banana Man on the right, and in his hand is a facsimile of an X-Key 24 right there. And next to him is the vMix guy. And the vMix guy has gray hair with glasses and a faint gray beard. And I wonder who that could be. Yeah, I wonder who that could be. And he's holding the X-Keys 124 T-bar control. So you know, I guess you can say in some ways that I have arrived. I have been immortalized as Lego. Well done, Dan. Thank you. And thank you to Miranda and Maggie and all the other folks that had a hand in it. I think it was Miranda that sent it on to me. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at my desktop for a second. And I don't mean the one right here because it's a mess, but I mean my vMix desktop. And of course, we're going to go to infinity over there in the top right one. But don't worry too much about that. And if you go into settings, top right-hand corner, and you pull up your settings, you can go into something called scripting. See that down here in the left-hand column? You can go into scripting. And here in scripting, you can write some scripts that allow one PC to take over the vMix control of a second PC. And so let's see, let's edit this start ASUS record script. And I don't know how clearly you can see that. Let's take just a second. Yeah, hold on a second. Let's go back in here to this one, and we're going to sharpen it, number 1. There we go. Now we'll go back to settings. We'll go back to scripting. We'll take the number 1 script and we'll edit it. Hopefully you can see that a little better. And I just cut and pasted this. I'm not understanding what I'm doing, other than understanding that this IP address right there is my second computer sitting over here to the side, and that I can tell it to start recording. And we'll just close that. And I've assigned that start ASUS record script, and we'll close that. Oh no, we need it back. We'll go into shortcuts, and right there is the start ASUS record shortcut. Now I've assigned it to my X keys right there, and its function is a script start. And basically I cut and pasted that name from the script area. And so now we'll save that. Whenever I push a button on my X keys that says start ASUS, it starts the recording on this second laptop that's over here to the side. Let's see if I can give you a look at that one. For the longest time, everything to do with that laptop kind of lived in the yeah, there we go. That's a good shot of the desktop. And so this guy right here is that second PC I'm talking about. This is the one that's doing the streaming. You can see him streaming right there and recording right there. And then this is my vMix production on my main PC, and then there's another monitor off to the right and my Lemonade. And this mic is not in use. So you're going to say, oh, no wonder his audio was so low, because he's got his mic sticking way over there, but that's not it. And so I've just got a KVM switch that allows me to use the same keyboard and mouse and switch between these controllers. I wonder, Dan Slider, would an X key work on a KVM switch? I have to try that. That would be cool. So anyway, this little guy is streaming and recording, and it's being controlled by this computer over here with very, let me see if I can bring it up again, very fundamental functions. Let's see, where were they scripting? I've got one that starts the recorder. Now it says start ASUS, but that's just left over from when I used it in my laptop. So I'm starting the ASUS recording and stopping it recording, starting it streaming and stopping it streaming, and then something they call cut to close and cut to show. And basically those are, and I'll show you those right now. Let's go back to this main shot for just a second. So when I hit the cut to close button, it takes us over to that second PC, and so you're actually seeing and hearing the music that's playing on that second PC, and seeing the graphic image that's on that second PC. And I don't ever use the follow for audio, except in this case I did, so that when the live show feed switched into preview from program, it turned off the show feed audio and it turned on the audio that was attached to that image. Now basically I just took that image, it was an input, and then in multi-view I assign the audio to that input so that the audio travels with it and turns off and on as it does. And that's with no knowledge of anything that I'm doing. I mean, I'll be real honest about that. It was cut and paste, it was experiment, it was trial and error, and if I can make it work, you can make it work. Now I did have a side conversation. No, I better not say that, sorry. So maybe next week we'll experiment with plugging X keys into the KVM and seeing if we can control different PCs indifferently. So that'll be fun. So lots of questions there. Lots of questions there. I'll try to get to them in post-show. We're going to wrap this one up. Thanks so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact and you've made it here to the end of this video, you may as well subscribe. Thank you very much. We'd appreciate it. If you're watching on Facebook, by all means, join the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. It's a lot of fun, and you'll learn a ton, and you'll meet some great people that'll help you out. And I think I could say a lot of folks that'll go to the extra mile for you. They'll test things for you and help you figure out where your problems are. And there's nothing like having live people that, that are really users of the software to do that. And also, advertising, easternshorebroadcasting.com if you need vMix or Magewell or PTZ Optics or X-Key products, or if you need consulting on PCs and streaming, I can help you with that. I'm Tom Sinclair. It's been my delight to come to you today. I can say all this with just one breath. Take care. We'll see you. We see you next week's show. Next week. Next week. I better not say because I'm not sure and I don't see it on the board. So anyway, next week we're going to have a great show. I hope you're there. If you're watching us live, stick around because we'll be in post show in just a second. Y'all take care. And so now I'm going to press the button that says stop recording.